Can't go run the track.
What's up, everybody? It's Colin, talking ball time, baby. Tab TV. I'm gonna try that out. Tab TV. Tab TV. It's hard to say. Maybe I won't try it out. But anyway, thanks for being here for this week's edition of Chatting Shit. Got the ever-present guest, Todd and Mom. What up?
What up, dude?
Having like all of the computer issues literally right before we were supposed to go live. Had a couple guests
I
lined
thought it was
up.
me.
Had a couple guests lined up. They were ready to go, and then my internet died. And I hope they come back. I'll send them a message, just a small one. But man, so Tottenham world, it's been a little crazy. But besides that, how's regular world been? You been doing all right?
Yeah, not bad at all.
Good deal. Good deal. Anything exciting while I'm sending this message? Or can we excite anyone? Yeah.
Anything exciting in my life or in Tottenham world?
Tottenham world now, baby.
Well, let's just hope that, that the Argentinians make it back sometime.
That is exactly what the entire beginning of the show is going to be about today. What?
How could it be about anything else?
Yeah. What the fuck, guys? That's the name of the show, or not the segment of the show. And really, there's not a whole lot more to say.
It's so hard to tell who the hell is to blame for any of this.
Who's the bad guy here?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I agree 100%.
Although I'm going to say that I think our boys. What you doing?
Oh, nothing. Just carry on.
I think that our boys are not responsible.
Well, I have a theory of my own.
What's your theory? I mean, my key. Hang on.
There we go. So I was just fixing some stuff. Like I said, everything was so last minute. Such a freaking crazy rush getting on here. So apologies. If anyone's watching, thank you for hanging around. If not, I don't blame you. Hopefully you're seeing this on a repeat or something. Either way, hit the like and then leave a comment, even if it's a mean one. Interaction's great. I love it.
Only mean about him, not mean about
you. You could be mean about either of us, and honestly, well, it's constructive.
We're pretty tough. We can take it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. So, okay, I have a theory of my own about this whole Argentina mess, and we'll get Aaron. Aaron's here also. What up, man?
Aaron.
Yeah. Hey, how you doing, Mama? How you doing, Colin? Look,
living the dream. How about you, man?
Yeah, I'm good. But my avatar, I'm going to pop up there with the guy with a really bad 1980s haircut. It's not me, okay? That was a joke, and I, for some reason, cannot get it to go away.
I would tell everybody it was the joke too. Audio artisan.
It's not me, man.
What's up, audio artisan? What up, buddy? He's always here. He or she. I don't know. I'm not gonna assume your gender, friend. But thanks for being here. It means a lot. You're a good person. But Aaron, we're just talking about what everybody's talking about, the Brazil-Argentina stuff.
Yeah.
Freaking bizarre.
Okay.
And it leaves me with WTF, guys. And I don't know. What's your take on the whole scenario?
Well, mine is there's a guy called Thiago, who's a Brazilian Tottenham Hotspur fan who I regularly communicate with via
he
Twitter.
Actually commented on one of my tweets today. Yeah,
he's a good guy. He's a good guy,
Seems
a lovely
awesome.
guy. Me and him, yeah, I know he's just lovely. And me and him both like Formula One, and we both love Tottenham. We both love football, so we're quite regularly back and forth, about the sports we love. And I said to him last night, what do I watch? Switzerland versus Italy, or Brazil versus Argentina? And he said, well, Brazil versus Argentina, of course. So I went hunting. I found a link. I watched it in Portuguese. And after about 3 minutes, I went to the bathroom. I came back, and all of a sudden, the Italian mafia were all over the pitch. Yeah, and I was like, who the hell are all these guys in suits, doing a pitch invasion? I didn't know what was going on because I don't speak Portuguese. And
Oh my god, I can imagine it just being extra chaotic for you. You're literally watching in a foreign language. That's awesome.
I had no idea what was going on. I was like, why are all these guys in suits on the pitch? What the hell is going on? And of course, then like I flicked back to the internet and tried to get some news, tried to get some updates. But okay, I mean, what we have to do is rewind a little bit and talk about the fiasco before Lo Celso and Romero left, and the fact that we're living in a world with a COVID situation now that people have to be considerate of. I mean, I haven't been able to travel, for the last year and a half, and then I don't know. There's all these rumors that the guys falsified their documentation. There's the new COVID variation in Colombia, and Sanchez has gone there. I mean, this thing is it's gone out of control. But at what point in this whole entire story would you like me to kind of give my view? Because at the moment, my head's as messed up as the Brazilian authorities.
This is good. I mean, you've already given me some info that I didn't have personally.
Right.
I mean, yeah. So if it's true that they lied about having been in London or England, for one, how could that have slipped past anybody who was paying attention? I mean, they were clearly not. They had clearly been in England. If anybody had been paying attention, they're like famous people who are on TV, and I don't know. That boggles the mind. And then,
well, it also begs the question: who lied? Did they fill out their information themselves? Did somebody from the Argentinian delegation?
I'm guessing a lot of the pressure these guys
everybody
felt. I'm guessing a lot of the pressure these guys felt is due to this: the fact that the World Cup qualifiers they're playing in is for Messi's final World Cup, and I think that everybody is like dying to cement their place in there and in that team. And so I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that they're willing to defy Tottenham's wishes. But you're right. I don't know who lied on the forums, but these guys have a lot of pressure, I think, to play for their country, and it's very competitive. They're not exactly nailed on starters. I mean, kind of, but not exactly. In Romero's case, I mean, not really. And so I could see him, defying those rules, but it's just, I don't know. The whole thing seems really weird, and it seems like, how could anyone have been that stupid? Like there's stupidity all the way around that I don't really follow.
It was like the Keystone Cops. It was almost like a comedy. That there's this health administration, this department trying to chase down the team, missing them at the hotel, and then do they not have the capability to have like a police escort or something, getting caught in traffic and not getting to the game in time to stop the players before the game started? I mean, it's insanity. The whole thing is just dumb.
Right. And then who was it that gave them, someone gave them like a pass and we're like, okay, never mind, everything's fine, you guys are fine.
Well, I think the government themselves and the Brazilian football association or whatever gave them sort of an exemption, said it was okay, but nobody checked with this health agency or whatever.
I've never been a conspiracy kind of theorist type of person. I mean, I do believe we got to the moon, and the Earth is gyoid in shape, not round or flat, by the way. But come on. I mean, obviously they got past customs. They were allowed, presumably, do their pre-training, session with the players, from their team. Argentina, I'm referring to. I just saw Brian Daigle's coming on in 10 minutes, so I can't wait to hear his take on all of this.
I know, I'm excited for that as well.
Yeah,
he always gives a great take on everything. But I mean,
he's never in the middle. He always is. He picks a side, and that's something I like about Daigle. He doesn't flirt with anything. You know what I mean? He's firmly one thing or the other thing. and I respect the shit out of that. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no worries, man. I tend to play the devil's advocate or kind of go down the middle and try not to upset either side, But
yeah, same. That's the
yeah,
kind of person I
yeah,
am. That's why me
yeah,
and Daigle are
yeah.
very different, and that's what I like about him, though.
He's great, though.
He knows what he likes.
Yeah. Yeah, he's great, and I love that his directness and his no bullshit kind of manner, and of course that that he's got the facts to back it up. I really I enjoy that.
Man, knowledge
But
for days.
look, there are so many
he's
questions.
gonna get in here. We're just saying nice stuff about Daigle. We got to stop.
He doesn't sit on the fence. He just said.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know, man. If you did, you'd break it. But yeah. So where were we? All right. I mean, there are so many questions to be raised about that fiasco.
There really are, and there's probably a lot that we'll never know. I mean,
well, look, why did they allow the Brazilian players and the Argentinian players to hug and chat to each other at close levels without social distancing? If they were that adamant about COVID being an issue, I mean, why didn't they give them the 2-meter rule that we have in Europe? I mean, it was just from start to finish. And look, I don't want to jump to the end of the argument, but I might have to here. 3 points for Brazil by the looks of it. 3 points for Brazil, quite possibly. And the fact that Brazil, I believe, were missing 9 players because of regulations, and Argentina managed to get all their players into the team and flouted regulations. So look, this is going to be a documentary that we're going to see in 1 year's time. I don't think any of us are able to answer it right now. But oh shit. Okay, you guys go on.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it's definitely a fiasco. That's a great word. But so I guess moving past the what and the why, and so now we're in the now, and what happens next? I mean, so these guys aren't going to be available for how many games? I know that we've got the Palace game coming up that they're clearly definitely not going to be available for. There's some period of isolation that they have to do. I don't know when they started. If they've started that, I don't know. Don't they have one more game to play with Argentina?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I think
so.
I think they're not being. I think they're being released. I read now again. I'm reading also. I'm reading articles from all over.
Yeah,
so
some of them are kind of contradictory. That's what I'm having a hard time.
Yeah, they are.
Are they playing in this final game?
Well,
aren't they playing in that final game?
Didn't the Villa players already return to or go to Croatia or wherever they're supposed to be training or whatever?
I
heard they flew out already.
I saw something that looked like an interview with one of the Villa players, and they were saying, we decided to go against our club's wishes because this is like a huge opportunity for us, and we know we're breaking the rules and to take whatever punishment comes, or something to that effect. I'll try to find it again. I think it was on Reddit. But yeah, like I said, there's different stories all around.
I read one that contradicts that said that Villa actually gave them permission to go, and Tottenham didn't give Romero and Lo Celso permission to go. So we're all getting different pieces of information at the moment. So it's very difficult to compile the truth.
Let's see what Football London says. There's an article on Football London about it that somehow I've missed already, but doesn't look like there's tons of meat here.
Look, man, unless it's reported in the the Sunday Times or the Times, I mean, they're the only kind of newspapers that I value as being, proper. That actually get their facts right, that have the most to lose, that are reputable.
Yeah, that most to lose part is actually a big thing. And I just wanted to say, it looks like there's 5 people watching. That's crazy. The most I've ever had is like 7. So it's nice to have you guys. Thanks for being here. If you like what you're seeing, hit that like button. And then leave a mean comment. We like those.
Colin, it's hard on a Monday night in this part of the world to get people on board. Yeah,
dude, I can't believe there's 4 of them. You guys are all good people.
Kieran would have been on board, but he said he's out. He's doing stuff, and Cody's baking bread. So yeah,
Cody's baking bread. That's awesome. He's such a
Cody's a brilliant baker.
I know. I've seen
such a
pictures
good baker
of his bread. I've seen pictures.
Yeah.
He'll have to send me a loaf. I'll commission one. See if I don't know if that'll make it through customs or not. But Audio Artisan says that there's some dodgy loophole that if they fly back through Croatia, they don't have to quarantine. That's real weird. I had heard something similar to that. See,
I know
there's
Eastern
just-
I heard
Europe.
that they didn't have to be in, like, if they come back to the UK, they have to stay like in a isolation hotel and can't like train. But at Croatia, they are able to at least do the training so that when they come back, they'll be match fit and ready to go.
Yeah, I think Mama's right on that one. I think when you come directly back to Britain, Britain or England, you have to stay in the government designated hotel. But there are ways around that. Even though Britain has now left the European Union, there seems to be a few loopholes here and there. Geez, it's such a mess at the moment. My big question is, why on earth did they have to travel to South America to play a game in front of no fans, 1,500 invited guests, when they could have played this game? Yeah. When they could have played this game.
I didn't realize when they said
Yeah.
that they did a kick around practice when they canceled the match to try to help, because the fans came, and I'm like going, man, I can't imagine a whole stadium full of fans being, pissed about the game not being played,
and let out
being
into the
okay with
streets.
watching a kickabout, but if there's only
Well,
if
there
there was
was
just
no-
a limited.
There was 1,500 invited guests. Probably 100 of them were the dudes wearing suit that invaded the pitch. It was nonsense. They could have played that game, staged that game in Europe, where probably 90% of the players are based anyway.
True.
And you are now able to have fans attend games in Europe because we got COVID. Here's Mr. Daigle. Anyway, here. Let
We got
the
someone else down
gentleman
there,
take
too,
over.
about to join in. Oh no. We need to have like wrestling music theme songs for you guys before I let you in. That's something I'm gonna add to the channel. But dun, 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 dun.
Oh my!
There you go. I was like, is Daigle talking? I can't tell.
Okay, he's doing his fake. He's frozen.
Well, what's Kirsty saying about my accent? Mr. Bobby's there too.
Bob, what is up, my man?
I'm all good, mate. I had to come on for a bit of mum.
Okay.
Just had to. She's a
Bob's
celebrity.
such a flirt.
She just got a Twitter today. So there's a Tottenham Mom Twitter now. So
I had a Twitter before. I just didn't
Nice.
have a Twitter for this.
dedicated to this, right? Well,
That's it.
now she does. So
That's it,
the world
man.
needed more of that.
I love the way you said that. She has a Twitter. It's like
Yes.
she
Wait,
now
is that
has
not
a
how- is
Twitter.
that not
She's
how you
now
would
on
say it?
Twitter.
Oh,
She has a Twitter. It sounds like my grandma was trying to explain something to me. She has a Twitter.
She has
She
a Twitter now. Yeah, no.
She had a-
I was about to say the same thing about my dad. He's 80 years old. Oh, he's got that internet thing, that thing that you can talk
Oh,
to
mate.
people
The
all
interwebs.
over.
I'm getting made fun of.
The
Big up
internet,
Kirsch.
yeah.
Thanks for being here. Kirsch is awesome.
Curse
Hey,
is incredible.
She loves Aaron's accent, which is
Guy, Aaron, you might
don't
have
we
seen
all?
it. Bob, you might. Have you seen when Peter Kay talks about his grandma? She goes, "Do you get on the intranet?"
Internet.
She can't
Yeah.
say
My mum.
intranet, yeah.
My
Hey, we got
mum used
another-
to say to me, do you want to do, why don't you go on your Telegram? Just call it a Telegram. The internet. Why don't you go on the Telegram and go and do your
There's
tip tips?
actually a site
Just
called
call
Telegram
typing
now.
tip tips. Sorry?
Man, we're still sending. Sorry, go ahead.
Go on,
Bob.
Aaron. Go on, brother.
I was just saying we're still sending faxes to my parents and my family. I mean, internet. That's not a thing.
I was about to say, there's actually a good app that I actually use now for my IPTV service called Telegram. Basically, it's WhatsApp, but on
Yeah,
WhatsApp
but
you
it's
can only
encrypted.
have 250 people like in a group chat or whatever. Whereas this, for like customer support and everything, you can up to 25,000 people. So it's basically
There you go.
WhatsApp, just on a bigger scale, mainly for companies. But yeah,
There you go, Colin. If you need a sponsor, Brian's done half
There we
the
go.
job for you.
yeah. And by the way, if you do bring people onto wrestling music, I'm putting it down now. I come into The Rock, my hero. So that's I'm nailing that down right now.
You got it,
Plate.
man. I will jot that down here in the notes. I'm The Rock. I hope you meet him someday.
Wait,
we
is
should,
there
we
going to
should
be
try
like
to organize
copyright
one.
infringement if we grab these?
That's a very good point. Don't.
Yeah, don't.
I'll change it slightly. We'll pitch it up or down or something. We'll figure it out. We'll get around it. But yeah, so Bob, and Brian, we haven't really heard from you guys. We've been talking about just the crazy
The craziness.
Brazilian shit. Do you guys have any? I mean, what's I don't know. What are your views? I want to say on the whole thing, but we could talk all day about it. I guess at the end of the day,
Romero and all that.
Yeah. Like, because we were trying to figure out. Oh, go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, how many people did it have to bypass for it get to the stage where they're actually physically on the pitch for them to come on? Now, Tim Vickery, a very good South American reporter, big up, he knows everything about South American football. He's basically saying there's a lot of finger pointing going on. No one's a Brazilian FA blaming the Argentinian FA. The Brazilian FA have given up and said, look, FIFA, it's your mess. It's under your umbrella. You go and sort it out. Spurs apparently are now denying or stating that they've not officially stated it, but the rumours are that they didn't give them any form of clearance. They went on their own accord.
Gentleman's agreement, Bob.
Gentleman's agreement, yeah. But how many people didn't do the due diligence for it to get to a point where they've left Spurs, they've gone to the airport, they've checked in, they've got onto the aeroplane, they've landed, they've trained, they've got to the stadium, they've changed, they've got onto the pitch, and then someone's like, "Oh, they're not even supposed to be there. Let's get them off." I think there's been
and why were there so many? Why were there so many guys there to arrest them all or to take them off the pitch? It was obviously premeditated.
It's been a shit show. It's been a shit show all round, and no one's going to get the blame because there'd be too many people to blame. So it'd be brushed under the carpet like FIFA normally do. But at least we get our players back a bit earlier.
Well, hopefully. Yeah, well. It's like who's corrupt in this situation? Who didn't get bribed or who did get bribed? Or, exactly.
I just wonder. So, are they not saying for the last Argentina match?
They were never going to play it. So, from my understanding, well, first of all, the one thing I will say on top of what Bob has said is, as soon as these international breaks came, you just knew there was going to be one game or one country where this was going to happen. It was just written in the stars that this was going to happen. It's amazing, and it's quite. And this is the cynic in me coming out. It's quite obvious to me that this was Brazil-Argentina. Of any game, it's like if England were playing Germany. Or so if it was going to happen, it's like two countries that just hate each other. Messi said it the best as well. We've been here for 3 days. Why has it taken till now?
Yeah.
It's Brazil-Argentina. Let's cause a little ruffle some feathers. And it's just got to the point, like you said, it's got to 3 games. Now, from my understanding, from what I've been reading and listening, the deal is with the Argentinian players, they were playing the first 2 games and they were not, under any circumstances, playing against Bolivia. They were going back to Croatia and then to go through this green loop for the red loop, through the white loop. It reminds me, do you remember when we were kids and you had these books and you had to try and see where the line reached? Did it go with the cheese to the mouse or the dog to the... It's basically been like that. This is what it's been like. This was always going to happen with one game. Always, always, always. I mean... I understand that UEFA or FIFA, whatever way you want to look at it, have to get these international games in. But after the first season of COVID, where there was a prolonged break, and then we restarted, then a shorter break, then a full-on season, which was interrupted with stupid, pointless internationals going into red zones, and then they had to organise this better. And I hate this bloody international break after 3 league games. It comes every single time. Why? Why? Let the players get a month or 2 into that, so they have their full fitness up. Then do what you got to do. I mean, it was the most stupidest time to do it, and it was bound to happen. And it just so happens it happened in a game where we had 2 key players.
And then we have to think from like a Spurs perspective. Are there going to be any punishments? Are they going to be? I mean, they're already going to miss.
They're already going to
miss the Palace match. Hopefully that's the extent of it. I just don't want them, you know what I mean?
Welcome, Romero. Come for 2 weeks, get a fine. Well done.
Right. And
there's a third player, though, as well, that people are overlooking. I mean, Davinson Sanchez, who's had a fantastic first 3 games for us.
Yeah, Aaron, Davinson isn't a problem because apparently it's only Brazil and Argentina that are in the red zone. or the
but that might change though, because there's a new COVID variant in Colombia. There is there's a new COVID variant. You can look it up.
I've chosen a real good time to try and get home, haven't I?
Yeah, my man. At least Rodon's back training for Wales. That's all I can say. But look, I mean, it's been an absolute farce, and at the end of the day, and I don't want to be pointing fingers, but we got to point fingers at everybody involved in this: the players, the the FA, the Brazilian FA, the Argentinian FA. I mean, everybody seems to have made a mess of this.
But what are they playing with as well? What are they leaving it to the matter of fact, or let's see how it goes? And I said the first day we heard about it, I don't understand how it's even a conversation. It's the risk of COVID or a fucking football game.
Right, and there weren't even many fans there.
Let's weigh it out. Let's weigh it out, shall we? The risk of COVID or a fucking football game. I don't know. I don't think there should have been a conversation.
Do you know what? You know what makes it worse as well? I mean, this goes in. Can you imagine now? I know Argentina are going to qualify for the World Cup. There's no doubt about it. Brazil, Argentina always do. Can you imagine if it was a team that were on the cusp of it? And you know, like how we spoke about Sheffield United and West Ham that year with the Tevez and Sheffield.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if it was a team from whatever's in there? I don't know all the countries that are in there. They're qualified. But if it was a team that is a small nation or a team that doesn't have a big World Cup history, and they could have had it gone, but they've lost these 3 points because of this game. I mean, let's face it, let's be serious. Argentina and Brazil are going to qualify. There's no two ways about it. But if it had been a smaller team, let's just use Bolivia, for instance, who was the next game. If Bolivia were 2 points away from the World Cup and these 3 points would have got them there, can you imagine the outrage for this as a nation and what the World Cup does for a nation? It's just been an absolute joke. And I'm just hoping from this saga, because we're used to saying that word this summer, let's just hope for the next international breaks that things are put proper in place. And if a country says you're not going, now I know we can say, I know it's written in the rule that we can't stop them from playing against or representing their nation. Let's just hope this time now there is some form of infrastructure to say, right, listen, if you're in this zone or you're there, you just aren't going. End of. I don't know if it has to go as far as governments, but I don't know what governments for our country can do.
It shouldn't have to. It is literally life and death, mate.
Yes, it is, but then it is. But it comes
especially with the amount of players that are unvaccinated.
What you're remembering, there's three things in this. There's three things in this, unfortunately. The third evil thing wins. Life, death, money.
Money, yeah.
And money is always going to win.
Yeah.
It's not given as well, Brian, that Argentina would qualify. Remember, they barely qualified last time. They were close to being. So, it might come down to 3 points. And if they are going to be deducted points or whatever, and
then there's going to be repercussions.
Forfeit the game 3-0, it might come down to that. So, you just never know, mate. You just never know. But like I say, it shouldn't have been a conversation. It should not have been a question. It would have been, you're not going. It's COVID, mate. Simple.
Games should have just been played in Europe, like where all the players are based, and fans can attend. I don't understand why they.
It seems like there were so many other options and so many other ways to go about it, but they chose literally the dumbest way. And like you said, Mom, I bet you there were palms greased along the way. We know.
Well, there's definitely money. Like Brian says, money is the thing that's talking here. Whether how it's exchanging hands, I don't know, but you can't say that they didn't have a vested interest in, certain things going down. And I think that, I'm just sad that our boys got drug into this because, they're kind of young and stupid that, but somebody should have just told them, grabbed them by the scruff of the neck and said, you can't go or something, because, it wasn't going to end well, one way or another. It was going to hurt them. It was going to hurt us, it's really unfortunate, but boy, I think the people who look the stupidest are the entire people of Brazil, because, their government, their football organization, they're and we know that they have issues with their government and COVID anyway, but the health organization has enough authority to stomp out on a World Cup qualifying game field and stop play. I mean, I don't know about you, but I think it makes them look pretty monkey, I don't know, just, Mickey Mouse, I guess is the word I would look for here. They look like they can't even get their ducks in a row enough to, make a policy and stick with it.
Makes them look indecisive, and makes them look out of control.
Like they can't even tell what the other hand is doing,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Unprofessional. It's just everything, it's been a shit show right from the off, and
so
it shouldn't have got
this
there.
is a weird question to ask, but Colin seems to think not at all. But I have some concern if this blows up to be a big ugly thing between the two countries. Does it affect having the Brazilians and the Argentinians within our own team getting along?
Welcome, Royale. Welcome, Royale.
Yeah, no kidding. Good thing I don't think he was there for any of that, thankfully. But
no, it's not like Brazilians and Argentinians haven't played. I know what you're saying, though. This could be.
I hope not.
I think in today's game, I think Pele's players do know how to separate both international and club football. And I'll be honest with you, the way the team spirit is amongst nearly every football team, apart from Arsenal, it seems. I do think the players do just get on, and
I would hope. I would hope that it's they're not politicians. They're football players. No. Hopefully,
and more importantly, they're friends. They train every day together
for real. Yeah,
you know what I mean. Yeah. So I think that all transcends.
I pray. I pray it has nothing.
Yeah, we're safe in that regard. Don't worry. Don't be afraid. But
we have enough trouble. We don't need that.
Sure has been a shit show.
We do not need
shit show. That's the exact way to explain it.
Chatting shit about the shit show.
Well, the good thing is there's only one more international with England, and then it's back to the Premier League. And
thank God. And Crystal Palace. That'll be fun. That's always an exciting match because we might fucking lose.
I fucking hate it as an Irish person.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead there, Rob.
They're a team that kind of doing over on us every once in a while, and
away from home. I've said it many times. This is one of the most scariest games away from home for me all season. Like right up there, I put them above some of the big six. They are that like we normally, just for some reason at Palace, we just don't. I don't feel as confident as I do. Put it this way: I'm more confident beating Chelsea and Arsenal than I am away to Palace.
Holy cow!
That's how I feel like over the years. Away, if this was at home to Palace, I wouldn't feel this. Away to Palace, there's just always that worry.
Yeah.
Can I just take this opportunity to plug myself? I will be doing my first ever watch along on We Are Tottenham TV for the
nice.
Palace
she's a big
Tottenham game. So I'm looking forward to that. Obviously honoured to be
Did you guys
to be invited on. So yeah, it should be
awesome.
Should be
Bob's
big shoes to fill.
We Are Tottenham TV. That is awesome, dude. Because I was gonna say Tottenham Mom over here is a big fan of those two, and
they're one of my first YouTube channels I started following.
I've got big
I
shoes
think
to
that's
follow.
for me. Yeah.
I heard Ben got engaged. Where did I hear that on one of the?
Yeah, no, Ben got engaged on Saturday.
That's so exciting.
His partner Ashley, yeah. So I'm going on after you, Bob. I can't remember what game. Not Chelsea, because I'm going with Ben.
No.
I'm on the
Wolves away.
League Cup. Wolves away.
League Cup,
League away.
That'll be fun.
Wolves, and then I'm doing, I think, Aston Villa and Newcastle as well whilst I'm in England.
And watch out for Bobby and Brian's special for the North London Derby. That's all I'm going to say.
That's what we've heard rumblings. We've heard rumblings about this.
Yeah, but Bobby and I are doing some work tomorrow. We're doing some research. We might be putting something on. But we're gonna do a few things together tomorrow. We're gonna try, and then Bob, obviously being in England, can make the calls to England on his phone, and the salesman and him and the customer service and me are gonna join together. And
I don't want to mess with those guys. Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll be able to say something a little by the end of the week or something. Hopefully, but we're trying our hardest.
Lads, I hope you do the walk down to the stadium, from outside as well. If you get that together,
I'm doing that for Chelsea.
Yeah, doing that for Chelsea.
Brilliant, excellent. Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
Awesome.
Yeah, just soak up the atmosphere pre-game. That'd be brilliant to watch.
Oh mate, I might just go down for the atmosphere.
Bob, if you come down, mate, you stay at mine, Bob. You want to come down for that game, mate? Come and stay at mine.
This is awesome. We got meetups playing in here.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. He's on camera, so I don't care if he's on camera or not. Since I've been doing this whole YouTube thing, one of the first ones I went on was actually Josh Spur's debate, but it was with Bob Spur. And ever since that moment, Bob Spur and I have literally, I speak to him pretty much every other day. We WhatsApp every day. And there's a lot of people I'm looking forward to meet. There is a lot. But this guy here is very, very, very special to me. And I cannot wait to actually see him not on the end of a screen. I might have to WhatsApp him when we're with each other just so it feels right. And then we'll be fine. Enough of the phone, enough of the phone.
He just wants to tell me to piss off face to face.
That's all it is.
You're going to be one of the first official people to do it.
Yeah, that's
it. I was going to say, we're coming too, but not for a while. Late December and then early January.
I'll be there.
Mom and I are
mate.
We gotta meet up. We gotta do something, man.
You know, the first person I never heard Bob say "piss off" to was Mickey Hazard earlier on, and I was waiting for it.
I nearly did. Aaron, I saw your message. I nearly did, mate, and I thought,
you should have for that.
That was so
brilliant.
Cool. How awesome was that? Being part of that. I'm glad you mentioned that, Aaron.
Big up Tottenham away for that. It was
amazing. He's been a hero. He comes from our era, Brian and Aaron's era, so we would have seen him play as well, live or TV, followed his career. I was more interested. I know he won all the medals and champion and all the trophies in his first stint, but we all knew he was coming to the end of his career when he came back for £50,000, by the way, we bought him for his second stint at Spurs, and he was 33 when he came over.
Yeah,
and we knew he was going to finish his career there. I mean, the interesting story is he said that he turned down a move to Birmingham City after his Spurs move, and they offered him a bit of money, and he turned them down because he just wanted to say, "I finished my career at Tottenham."
Brilliant.
He finished his career. He turned down Birmingham City because he wanted to always go down as finishing his career at Spurs. And yeah, goosebumps. I've never had so many goosebumps during the stream. I hardly said anything. Brian actually had to text me saying, "Bob, you're right." I'm like, yeah, I was like,
you're just an arm, man. I get it.
Honestly, I could sit there. Oh man,
he was inspirational. I like that he had some. You know what I mean? He had some stuff about life and not giving up and believing in yourself, and
he's brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, a bit about him footballing wise. I went to, and there's another guy in the chat on Tottenham away, which, like I said, it was a big shout out to Stel, Shy, Iggy, JP, and all of them for getting Mickey on. So I went, and Edwardson was talking about this game. I was at a game where we drew with Liverpool 3-3, and it was in his second stint. Yeah. I reckon he's about the age the Bob Spurs said, probably about 33.
Yeah.
And he played everyone off the park. And I mean, literally played every single person. It was like he was 18. And we had Robbie Fowler on that. But we had Liverpool had some peak players, and we had Darren Caskey. When he said that name, I was like, oh my God, there's a bolt from the
Darren Caskey. Oh my word.
He completely was incredible. Now, Mickey Hazard is an incredible. I've met him at a few legend nights, and one of the legends he does, because the way I know that, so we have a mutual friend, Mickey Hazard and me, which is the guy that introduced me to Danny Rose's dad. And they were doing a legends night that I went to. That Mickey Hazard was on it, Ozzy Ardiles, and the late great Alan Gilzine, who was my dad's favourite. And this mutual friend got me to get a secret private meeting with Alan Gilzine, with half an hour on my dad with Alan Gilzine, which was like one of the proudest moments of my life, because my dad got to spend half an hour because I'd done something with him. But Mickey Hazard, I mean, I speak to him on Facebook very, very occasionally, but he's very, very, very vocal on Facebook. And if you read, there was the tragic news of his sister dying of cancer a year ago or so, and family. He does so much work outside of football. He loves, like you could see every word he like Stelios said. Stelios said, and I think his exact words were, "You're making me proud to be a Spurs fan again. You're making me proud." And he was. His words and the way he speaks about Tottenham Hotspur is like we talking about him. It's like literally why we support Tottenham. But there is so much more to Mickey Hazard than just a football player. I mean, that story he was telling about the finale and the rainbow and the Bill Nicholson. Oh my God, I was crying. I was in my bedroom and I was crying before I was getting ready to go out. I was that. He's just an incredible, incredible guy. And to be so open and vulnerable and speak how he did, he is a true icon and a true role model. And the words I use, Bo, I don't know if you do, he's a cult hero. He has got a big following. He is definitely, he's like, you look at the people like Harry Kane and what they're legends, they're what he didn't hit that height like the goals or whatever. But one thing he will go down is as being a very, very, very firm fans' favourite.
Yeah, definitely.
And probably the best description of what to dare is to do means. He actually gave a brilliant description of that.
Can you compare him to a player like that I might know from like this era, having not seen much of him?
Ability wise?
Yeah.
Oof, I don't know. I mean, I did think. I don't know. Paul Scholes, but without the shooting boots. I don't know, man.
Do you know who I would say?
Ericsson?
From Middlesbrough,
Jorginho. But I don't know if Colin will know Jorginho.
Yeah, no. I'm just gonna have to educate myself. I got some YouTube videos to watch.
Give us a year, Colin, from the earliest year that we can try and compare him from.
Trying to think now.
2005.
All right, 2005.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. So someone got to be short with a bit. I mean, Messi with a bit less skill. No.
Okay, that's a good question. Let's have a look. Let's see.
Yeah,
between you, me, and Aaron. Let's see.
We'll come back to that.
2000.
Put that on the back burner.
Yeah,
that's a really good question.
Lads, for me it's difficult because I as you boys both know, like I grew up in the radio era in Ireland where I listened to games, I didn't get to see them. But I do remember Mickey Hazard playing against West Ham when he came back, I think 93-94 season. And he scored a great goal.
I've got it.
Sorry, go ahead, Daigle.
Joe Cole.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. That was nice.
It's unanimous then. Okay, cool.
As soon as you said West Ham, it dropped. Joe Cole.
Yeah.
That does help me. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna do the man justice and go back and watch. At least some highlights.
It's weird because he never had his socks all the way down, but he never had them over his knee at the same time as well. They looked like they were always too. They were like lowered,
like
but they weren't. Yeah.
Or Tony Galvin, man. Tony Galvin.
Galvin, yeah.
Tony Galvin had them down there.
He started.
Tony Galvin never wore shin pads, man. He had his socks around his ankles.
He had little legs, great control. Like I say, if you can watch because the clearer videos are from when he in his second stint, 90. What was it? 92? No, 94.
Yeah.
Because Klinsmann was 94. He was before Klinsmann, so it must have been 92, 93.
93. Yeah. So it's all right. But yeah, it was. So watch some of his stuff. I mean, some of his goals, mate. Even some of his goals are crackers. Absolutely.
Do you know what? It's not even as good. But whenever I think of Mickey Hazard, apart from that Liverpool game, when I think of his first team, my dad has loads of. There were VHSs then, but of great Spurs victories, and there's one was a great FA Cup game. And it was great FA Cup victories. Now, he makes the assist for this goal, and it's back at his old club, Chelsea. So it was his first stint, so it wouldn't have been his old club. But there's a goal that Glenn Hoddle scores, where there's like a one-touch move. I'll try and find the goal and put it in the private chat. Tottenham have it, and I think Mickey Hazard spoke about this game in we played in the white trim and then yellow socks. And Glenn Hoddle scores a curling shot from outside the area into the bottom corner. But Mickey Hazard does like a Johan Cruyff flick up to him. I'm going to find it now and put it in the private chat.
That sounds awesome. I'm excited.
Bobby, do you remember the goal I'm talking about?
No.
I'm going to find it.
Once I see it.
It'll bring it back.
As soon as you see
the normally, whatever I talk about, Brian knows. Whatever Brian talks about, I know. But this one, I'll be honest with you.
You guys are the brain twins. Mind trust.
Oh, me and him are very similar. We really are. Let me find the goal.
Oh man, I'm glad it's. Hey, by the way, thank you both for being here today. I appreciate y'all being on the stream. It kind of adds some legitimacy. Hey, you guys are good people. You kind of add some structure to my chaotic, unplanned shows. So much appreciated.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, of course.
So, do we think Romero should come in and replace Tanganga straight away. Not Romero, Emerson.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not of the impression that anyone should really lose their place straight away to a new player. I like what Spurs have done in the past. Like I always bring up Hugo, but he was brought in and he was arguably way better than Brad Friedel, like right off the bat. But he sat on the bench, he waited his turn, and I think that has to happen. Tanganga has done nothing but earn himself a spot in the team. I mean, we were supposedly going to get Tomiyasu, but then cooled on that because of how well he played. They effectively were the same thing, a center back that could play on as a right back as well. And so I think Tanganga, it's his spot to lose.
100%.
I think at the very least you have to wait and see how they do in training together. I mean, if he is a true upgrade and they've proven it in training, then I think you have to play the best players you've got. But I also think that Tanganga has definitely earned some loyalty, and he's worked his boots off to be where he's at. And I think that there has to be a kind of a clearer improvement before they can make that decision.
So in the private chat, I'm just about to stream it. I put the link in. Colin, you may want to put it in the link in the actual chat because I'm not an admin, so I can't put a link in.
Oh, see, I don't know how any of this works. I should make you an admin.
So it's literally, if you go, it's 22 minutes long, but if everyone watching goes to 14 minutes 37 seconds in
after the stream finishes.
Yes, obviously after the stream. You'll see Mickey Hazard. Actually, I'm looking at Mickey Hazard with his perm now. You'll see him talking to the ref, but then as soon as you go, you'll see the build up to this goal. It's 14 minutes 37 seconds in, but the whole highlights is 22 minutes.
What about you, Aaron? Emerson,
Look, I'm probably gonna, upset the apple tart here, but or the apple cart. We call it the apple tart in Ireland, but no, it's a joke. Our Prime Minister, our Taoiseach, said that one day in a public speech, so we all say it as a joke now. He meant to say upset the apple cart, but he actually
I'm gonna say it myself. That's coming to Indiana.
Yeah, David Harris said it recently without realizing, by the way. He didn't realize that he... So, look, I could see us, and again, I'm going to upset the apple tart here, but I could see us going with the reliable or guys that know. I don't think Romero's going to be involved. I think we'll have Tanga or Doherty at right back, or maybe Tanga switch inside to right centre back. I could see Davies getting involved. I could see Dyer playing. Region, obviously, at left wing back. I don't think we're going to be having Romero, and I don't think Sanchez will be available. So I think we're going to have to mix it up and possibly go with the back five or a three at the back, if that's what you want to call it.
I actually put that in Twitter earlier, but I was asking kind of like for as the season goes on. But I mean, even for this coming weekend, do we play? Do you guys think we'll primarily be seeing a back four or a back five this season? It's tough. It's tough to say.
Depends who you play against, and who's available.
Yeah, it seems like he's going with a four, doesn't it? It just seems like he's going with a four. Yeah. Now the question is, obviously, Emerson's has more of an attacking mindset. So has he been brought in to play when we do play three at the back? But we've not done it against Man City. We've not done it away to Wolves. If there were two games, or certainly one game, you'd think, Man City would play back three. I don't know. It doesn't look like. I think he's set with a four. Aaron's right. It's probably player dependent who we've got available, but I don't think we'll have anyone missing who's currently in the first 11 against Palace. Am I right? I don't think will we?
Unless, if Sanchez can come back and play straight away, then we should be good.
Well, we'll have Sanchez and Romero missing by the looks of it. So not that they've been first, and obviously Emerson just coming into the team, So it's a tough one to call.
Emerson will have two weeks of training, won't he? So there's every chance that against a Palace, where we've had tough games, but they aren't one of the elite teams. Every chance Tanganga might be moved to the middle alongside Dyer and Emerson play out wide. We've still got
that would be kind of great because I think Tanganga is a center back anyway. You know, I don't see him as a right back long term at all.
I think that as well. And the reason I think we should start with Emerson is, like I was saying, that we seem to really, really struggle at Palace away, and we seem to really soak up the pressure and then try and hit them on the break. And Palace are the one team that try and do exactly the same, home or away. So having someone attacking that will get at them and like not a sit, we won't even know what he's going to do, let alone what Palace are going to know. So I think to have that little live wire and that little bit of the unexpected may be just what we need. Because like I said, this game, don't get me wrong, if it was Spurs Arsenal or Spurs Chelsea, I'd want the strongest team. Don't chuck someone in as their baptism of fire in that game. Play who you try and test it. But I think Palace away is a good game to try and blood someone in to say, right, this is what the Premier League's about.
Yeah.
Take your lumps. This is going to happen. So I would start Emerson, but only because it's Palace away.
And then you wouldn't take Tanganga out of the starting lineup. You just move him towards the center then.
Tanganga for me is a centre back.
Yeah,
always has. Always is. And I still see him. I think with this signing now of Emerson, we may see. I'm not saying religiously, but I think he now has the flexibility to play the back three that he wanted, and maybe not be as rigid as he was with Wolves because he's now got the attacking players to support it. Because the way I look at it, that back five doesn't only suit the way he wants to play, but he obviously wants to play with two up top. And two up top or Kane as a one is the way you can. Not Kane in a three. Kane in a 4-3-3 for me doesn't work. He's not suited for a 4-3-3. A 4-2-3-1. There's no one else in the world I would rather have. 3-5-2. Him with another person. No one else in the world I'd rather have. Just 4-3-3. I just don't.
Yeah, he doesn't move. He doesn't. Yeah, he's not fluid enough. That front line isn't fluid enough whenever it's a three with Kane in it. It just doesn't. I don't know. He doesn't float around.
Well, I think the onus needs to start going on Ali. You know, Ali, he's been renowned. The way he made his name was running from deep into the box. And if Harry Kane can find a ball, is proved that he can find a ball. Ali should obviously he's playing a deeper role, but maybe he should start making those runs a bit more. Certainly, if Sonny and Lucas are keeping the wide areas busy, because Harry Kane will find you. Harry Kane will find you.
Yeah, Dele seems like he's gotten a lot of praise this season, but his role must have completely changed. His instructions under Nuno must be completely different than for instance that like 15-16 season whenever he was great. He's tasked with creating more now, and I don't think that suits him. I think that's all a burden and takes away from the skills that he actually has. And he doesn't, to be honest, I love Dele, and I'm not like a Dele like shit talker, but his skills are very limited. He's got like a limited skill, and I think that asking him to be creative takes away what little he's really good at, which is, like you said, making those late runs in.
He's kind of a poacher.
I'll be back in 2 seconds, guys. 2 seconds.
Yeah, man, no problem. But yeah.
Do you think though, do you think that? You see, this is my worry. Not worry. I mean, Doherty's coming off the back right of two pretty good games for Ireland. Albeit that we didn't actually do much, but he had two very good games. One at left back, and one at right back. And the fact that Nuno knows him makes me wonder: would he put Doherty in ahead of Emerson? Just for the fact that he's got the experience, and that's why I think we'll see Emerson in the Europa Conference League game, but I'd be surprised if he just threw him in against Palace. I really would. I think he'd probably try and shuffle up the defence to either accommodate Tanganga at right back, or possibly even put in Doherty. Not that I want Doherty there. I don't rate the guy as a player, but I just think, do you really put in Emerson? And I think Nuno's too cautionary to do something like that. I'd love to see our new players playing. I'd love to see Ryan Hill. I'd love to see Emerson. But I don't think Nuno's that type of guy. I think he's a little bit more
pragmatic.
So,
I could see it going both
I hope
ways.
I'm wrong.
It'll be exciting. We don't know enough about Nuno, I don't think, yet. I mean, he's never really stuck to doing things one way. I mean, if you look at the teams that he's he's managed, they all play differently, and I haven't watched enough to know, how he bloods in new players. But yeah, we could see anything. I mean, it's all up in the air, which makes it very exciting.
It's going to be great. I can't wait till the team's announced. But I'm really looking forward to what team he announces on the day. It's going to be, exciting.
Yeah.
So,
well, definitely.
Yeah. I'd love to see either Luke.
No, go ahead. What were we saying, buddy?
No. You go ahead, sir.
I was just gonna ask you what you thought of the choose one for your team or kill one game we played last time.
Oh, I missed it.
Bob wasn't there for this, so I just go and I have like a list of Spurs players, and I pick two that are, similar, either like skill level or that people like, and then I say
it was horrible. It was
a horrible game.
I hated it.
And you don't have to die. Maybe they can just go to West Ham, but one has to go to West Ham and one gets to stay at Spurs.
Yeah, I'm sure there are other dying, but yeah.
I was going to say
when you started, it was definitely die, and it was awful.
it had to be serious.
I know.
The hyperbole versus
but you would take two completely beloved players and put them against each other, and it's like, no, stop that.
For instance, my first choice for today.
Do you want to wait for
Defoe?
Oh, come on.
Who? Sorry,
Garth Crooks or Jermaine Defoe?
Oh,
I know, right?
Well, I'd for me, I'd have to kill Garth Crooks purely and simply. He's so embarrassing on TV, man. Some of the shit.
Yeah, I was about to say the same.
Honestly,
he's on TV.
He's so shit on TV. He's
what's he on?
Himself.
I'm sorry.
I know. No. So and Defoe, I'll be honest with you. I met him in Faces as a club in my younger days. In a club in Essex called Faces, and I'd seen him there so many times. There was a time where he actually said yo to me before I actually said yo to him. I was walking past, tapped me on the shoulder, went yo. I went oh, and I said something like that. I went all girly, and I did look down at him.
Did you have Spurs gear on or something? How did he know you were?
No.
He could just
seen
tell.
me in that club so many times that he actually recognised me. So that was.
Bob was probably the DJ or something.
That's it. Yeah.
Man, I would have just froze up. I wouldn't even know what to say, man.
He probably thought.
All you have to do is just go like this, Colin. Sup?
Yeah,
you don't even say anything. Just the head nod is all you need, really. If you're,
I didn't even do that. I just smiled and dribbled, and he kind of got the message.
I don't know. I would do the same thing. I've got to meet.
He did finger guns at him.
I've got a couple of autographs from some Spurs players, and even just that, like even just being like 3 feet away from them or whatever was like, oh my god, Harry, Dele. It was right after we had signed Dele, so that was really cool. I was like one of the only people that knew who he was and screamed at him to come off the bus. I was like proper like 8-year-old, I was acting like I was a little girl, but it was.
You didn't squeal. You just got real quiet.
It was something else. That was awesome.
Mom giving the juicy details.
That was an easy one. That was an easy one.
Yeah, that was an easy one? Oh, man. Okay, well.
Kill Crooks.
Yeah, if you've ever seen Garth Crooks on TV, the guy make you cringe more than Saul Campbell would when he's giving
See, I had no idea that he was on TV. That sucks. I didn't know that. I thought...
Just YouTube it. Just say Garth Crooks best bits, funniest bits, and you'll see it.
No, don't.
It'll ruin my image. It'll ruin my image of the man. But
yeah.
Okay. So Ryan Mason, Andros Townsend.
Oh, it's easy, man.
Is it
Come
Mason?
on.
You keep Mason.
No.
Yeah. No.
I
had it backwards.
He fucked up our chance of winning the cup final by putting out
you're right.
mates.
By playing his friends. Yeah. Well,
mates. There's no
I'm
forgiveness.
glad that you agreed with me on that.
I agree with Bob for different reasons.
Well, what's your reason?
Well, I'm actually a bit of a Ryan Mason admirer in terms of the fact that he stood up and he took over the job when Mourinho got the bullet. So I'm not as harsh on Mason as 99% of the other Tottenham fans are.
I think Daniel Levy's to blame for that. I think he wanted a fall guy that we wouldn't hate.
What was Brian Mason supposed to do in that situation? I mean, he had to say yes.
Not play his friends in the cup final and put.
But he only had 6 days. You know,
he control that.
What do you dance with the devil? You know. I mean, what was he supposed to do? Of course, I love Brian Mason, so I'm going to be taking his side on this one. But
hey, I'm with my mom on the stream.
Simba.
Brian's back.
Brian's back.
He has a kitty cat. Brian's got a kitty cat.
I do.
Is Finbar an Irish name? I think it might be. I don't know. I'll have to Google
that. Simba from the Lion King.
Nice. Oh, Sinbad.
Awesome.
Yeah, Simba.
Or Simba. Okay, Simba. Okay.
Not a pirate.
All right, okay. I'm getting there.
He's sticking his eye patch off for the show.
What's up, Dave? So, Dave, we've been playing the famous. I
heard the game. I heard the names you were just discussing.
Okay. So, what's your answer, Townsend?
So, do you remember when you said Bow and Son, and this was really hard for me?
Yeah.
This is really hard for me for so many different reasons. I completely agree with what Bob said about Mason in the Carabao Cup final, but also Andros Townsend caused Poch a load of shit. And also, Andros Townsend was a greedy bastard. And I used to have bets with my friends at Spurs to say who could get to the closest amount of times. He'd cut him from the right and then hit Rose Ed.
God.
So this is a real hard one for me. And do you know what? I think I'm gonna. As much as I hate to say so, me and Bob very rarely really rarely disagree. I'm only going Mason because he was doing well with the youth. He was doing very well with the youth, i.e. Scarlets, Divines, whatever. He's gone back to them, so he's still with the club. So Townsend left under a bit of a cloud, whatever. And one thing I hate about Townsend is he was the one that all of a sudden after Gareth Bale left, he shone through, and then I think it got to him. I think he believed his own hype. So I'm gonna, and this is really hard for me to say as well because I can so see where Bob's going with it, and I know how Bob was with the
Mason in.
The whole Mason in, yeah. So it's really hard for me to go against Brother Bob. This is like someone is trampling on my heart. But I'm gonna have to go with Mason. But I look forward to the next one, but hopefully it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
Sorry, are you killing Mason or are you keeping Mason?
Well, listen, Mason's had a brush with death already. Let's save Mason. Let's save
Mason.
There you go.
All right, cool. Dan, hello, Danny boy. Yeah, hello, Danny boy.
Do you have a favorite?
What's up, Danny?
Dan, we're playing a game, and two Spurs players are named. One has to go play for West Ham / maybe die, and the other one gets to stay at Spurs.
I'd rather die than play for West Ham.
I don't know what goes on at West Ham.
Who would you kill, Mr. 13-year-old boy?
Yeah.
Let's see how cold-blooded he is.
And
bad education, man. Bad education.
But so I don't know how much you remember these dudes. Were you around? Do you know much of Andros Townsend and Ryan Mason? Oh, I think you are muted, my friend Daniel.
Yeah, you're mute.
Yep, he's got it. Here he comes.
Oh,
but I don't know.
He's panicking.
I know his answer's going to be.
You're still muted, Dan.
We're getting close, so it's okay.
It's a bit of an anticlimax, wasn't it?
No, it's okay, though. I like it. No, he's not muted on my end. That would be funny, though.
It's on the screen as mute, so...
Can't unmute your guest because they chose to mute themselves.
There you go. No, still
nothing.
Oh, wait a minute. Do you know what, Dan? Let me ask you, have you lost your voice and you are actually talking? We just can't hear you.
He's been sleeping. He's been
go out and come back. All right, mate.
Yeah. We'll see you in a minute.
I know, go out. It's like switch it on and switch it off. Go out and come back.
Let's all finish the stream and really no.
Okay, so Woodgate or Kabul?
Who?
Eunice Kabul,
Kabul
or
or
Jonathan Woodgate?
Kabul. See, Woodgate
Woodgate
won
or
us the
Kabul.
Woodgate scored the winning League Cup
Yeah.
final goal. But let's not all forget
Yeah.
I've got to say
Kabul
check
put
one
in the
off.
cross. Kabul put in the cross to Crouchy, who got us the first Champions League spot away to Man City. Remember
Yeah,
that?
but even if Crouchy didn't score that,
Can you hear me?
but even if Crouchy
Now
didn't
you
score
could,
that,
Dan.
I'm pretty sure we would have got into the final anyway, or we would have qualified anyway. We only
but
needed a draw, man.
But still, it was a
Wrapped it up
joyous
nicely.
occasion, wasn't it? Let's be honest.
So
Danny boy.
And also he did, and also he got the winner away to
just exactly what I was about to say.
Arsenal.
Yeah,
Arsenal
Kabul scored some crackers, and he could head the ball further than Michael Dawson could as well. So yeah.
And I think the other thing I'm going to say, we spoke about it on your last stream, Colin. If anyone's seen that picture of goddamn Kabul's thighs, I ain't arguing with anyone with thighs that big. So
no Pamaro. Do you remember No Pamaro? 42-inch thighs, man. That guy was built tree trunks, man.
Longevity-wise, and the fact he was part of the squad under Harry, who got us to the first Champions League, and with Woodgate. Oh man,
Woodgate was the last goal scorer that won us the trophy.
Yeah,
that's crazy to think about.
But you know what? You're getting very good at this game, Colin. You're getting very. These ones that seem so obvious are actually quite difficult.
Longevity-wise, and the fact he was part of the process. I sound like an Arsenal fan. That got us from nearly men into the top four. I'd have to say Kabul. I always had a bit of a soft spot for Kabul, if I'm honest with you. Because in Indian, Kabul means accept. And we did kind of accept him into our hearts. So for me, it'd have to be Kabul.
That's poetic right there.
That's sweet.
I'm done. See you later.
I thought Kabul was the capital of Pakistan, but anyway.
But yeah. So Dan, did you? We never got your answer on Andros Townsend or Ryan Mason.
We did. We just didn't hear it.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be honest. I'm not really remember much of Townsend.
He was like a budget version of.
Fucking hell! Now you just made me feel so old.
Get Gareth Bale, flip him to the other side, and then have him be shit. I guess he was a shit Iron Robin.
Well, I mean,
Iron Robin. You're putting Townsend. Jesus Christ! He wasn't a shit Iron Robin. He was a very shit Iron Robin.
Well, that was, you know what I mean. Though he had the one trick. He was the same. He would go down the right, cut in.
I know who Ryan Mason is, though.
Did you rate him as a player?
Well, I don't really get to see too much of him. I know that the injury was tragic.
For sure. So he gets to say just because of the injury.
That's
I think he's a survivor.
If it's as a manager, if it's as a manager, I would send him to West Ham as a manager. But if it's as a player, I'll keep him at Tottenham.
I like this guy.
When Ryan Mason came through as a player, he came along a guy who was just annoying as hell, which was Nabil Bentaleb. Yeah. And Ryan Mason was most certainly the better of the two. Ryan Mason was by far the better of the two. And also I don't know if people remember that time when Ryan Mason kicked Jack Wilshere in the face, which also makes me so for that alone, he's definitely
also
where was the goal he scored where he got his injury?
No, he was playing for Hull against Chelsea when he got his injury.
Oh, I was saying whenever he suffered a kind of a bad injury at Spurs. He scored a goal, and I forget who it was against, but it was the winning goal. During it, he got injured. It was like a collision with the goalkeeper.
He got the skull fracture.
This was before that. This was a Spurs injury, but I don't know. That basically ended his career with Spurs. But he was he just never really got back into the team after that injury. But Dan, he was like a utility man. Like he wasn't. He was from the academy. He really really loved Spurs. He played really hard. Like I said, like not the most skillful, but just like a terrier.
Pretty.
Like had so much energy. Was always running. He was part of the like Pochettino change that came to Spurs with the youth and the energy and the pressing, and I don't know. He really kind of helped bring the team along to what it is today. So he'd be who I would keep from that.
He was like a Harry Winks who actually tried. Actually, had a bit about him, and gave it his all, regardless of his ability. He did give it his all. So I'm keeping Ryan.
Yeah. The thing is, though, the thing about Ryan Mason that I don't like, though, is in every press conference when he was a manager, he'd just bring up Daniel Levy. They would ask him, what formation were you planning to play next match? And he'd end up talking about how great the facilities are and what a great job Daniel Levy did for the club.
His name twice. Don't say it again.
Yeah, if you say it 3 times, he appears, man.
Yeah,
at Daigle's house.
I'm in a good mood. I don't need to go to that level.
Yeah, but he was clearly instructed on what to say, I think.
Shut up.
But okay, so new one, new pair. Modric or Eriksen?
Oh, that's a hard one.
Modric or Eriksen?
I can't say Eriksen to go to West Ham now.
Oh, ouch. Yeah, we'll forget about the horrible. I'm just speaking of like on the pitch, like what they did for the Spurs, and
do we disregard Eriksen's last year?
Yeah. Do we disregard his last year at Spurs? No.
If we disregard his last year, definitely keep Eriksen.
Really?
That's a hard one, Colin. You've given us a bit of a hard one here.
They're all hard.
When he first came over, I think Modric was held in high regard within the Premier League than Spurs fans ourselves. Because I remember Harry Redknapp saying, I personally thought he was overrated. I didn't think he was that good at first when he first came over. And Harry Redknapp says, he was asking the players, why aren't you passing it to Modric? And they were like, well, he's always been marked out of the game. He's always got 3 or 4 players around him. And Harry Redknapp's like, forget that. Fuck it. Don't worry about it. Even if he's got 10 players around him, pass Modric the ball. And I think that's when he saw the instinctiveness of how Modric plays, because he probably played better when he had 3 or 4 players around him, because he had to do things with that football. And the guy won a Ballon d'Or for me 2 or 3 years too late. It's only because of Messi and Ronaldo he didn't win it any earlier. He was, for me, the best midfielder for Spurs in the last 20 years. After Gaza, I'd say it's been our best midfielder. And for me, I'd easily kill Eriksen over him. Modric, legend. Yeah, he will go down as legend.
Well, I mean, you and me are back in sync. Without, I don't even need to think about it. It's like literally, Redknapp even said when he first came, he actually started out on the wing, and then Redknapp moved him into the centre and they were like, no, he's too small. He's going to get. I watched one of his first games he played for Tottenham. Once we signed him, was a pre-season friendly away. It was a neutral ground, but it was against Celtic. And it was the first time I'd seen him, and this guy just ran the show. And what I loved about him, and when you're talking about these 2 players, Eriksen down tools, as we've just discussed. Modric tried to down tools, and when we said no, he came back, and for that one season,
put his head down.
He was like,
awesome.
I mean, nothing. You've got nothing. Nothing sums it up apart from that goal against Liverpool, where literally that ball came and it was an arrow into the top corner of the Park Lane. He came back with a vengeance. He was like, right, okay, I'm staying here for a year. I'm going to give you everything. They must have had a gentleman's agreement, because obviously he went to Madrid. But for that 1 year, yes, he boiled off a little bit near the end. And I don't know if that's what he knew he was coming to the end, or we just played him so much. He was so integral that fatigue caught him. But he was a genius with the football. And absolutely.
The only player,
go on, Bob.
The only player I know who actually went a year further down on his contract, but actually didn't depreciate in value.
Yeah,
he played so well that season. There was no depreciation. The value was still the same, although he used up another year of his contract. That's brilliant.
Probably why his gentleman's agreement got honored. Then
I think his gentleman's agreement got honored because it was abroad. That was the main thing. It was going abroad.
I think Kane would be gone if the offers for him and the interest on his part was for a Barcelona or a Madrid. I think he'd probably be gone. So yeah, I agree.
I agree.
About the Brown thing.
You just got to Google Modric showboats or Modric pass. The guy could pass. He could tackle. He
was silky.
One of the things that, do you know what?
He made it look so easy.
If I could go back in time and change one thing, and like literally that 4-4 that we got at the Emirates when Lennon scored.
Yeah.
If everyone looks at that volley from Luka Modric, so he had a volley. It got a little deflection, but it cracked the crossbar and bounced back, and Lennon tapped it. If I could go back and change anything,
what about Genius's goal? No one remembers Genius's goal.
Always, mate. So now we're on that. I've got to tell this story about that game. So you're going to meet my best mate Jerry when I'm over, Bob, the one who lives in Stoke-on-Trent, where I'm coming up north.
Oh, okay.
Diehard Gooner. Love him to pieces. Only bad thing is he's a goddamn Gooner. But that game, this is before Facebook and Sky Sports had all these apps where you had scores there and there. So he went with his dad, who's a Liverpool fan, but he got 2 tickets. So he took his dad, and he left when it was 4-2. So he made his walk to the Emirates or to Highbury, and he called me up, pissing himself, laughing, going, "Ha ha ha! You bastard! You got Harry Redknapp. You thought you were great. And he wouldn't let me talk. I started pissing myself. I was like, Jerry. He's like, Brian, why are you laughing? I was like, because you don't know the score. And he goes, what are you talking about? And I said, it's 4-4. He goes, bollocks, I've left the Emirates about 4 minutes ago. I'm about to go into Highbury Station. I was like, I'm telling you now, walk into any pub or around any pub now and tell me if you see Arsenal fans are either laughing or they're... And he called me back and said, Brian, don't fucking call me for 48 hours and put the phone down. So that genius goal started that all off. So I always... Bob, when you see it, I'll mention that story to him. But yeah, that game. But if I could change one thing, it'd be that Modric volley just nestled in the back of the net because he deserved it. He was that good. Modric was a superstar. He really
he makes it look so easy. Like he's not doing anything, but he's doing everything. You know, I could see people seeing him and being like, well, "What's he doing?" You know, but that's the beauty of it. I mean, he
knocked England out in that semi-final. It was him. He was the player, the oldest player on the pitch. Yeah. So we couldn't cope with it.
Yeah, he controlled the game.
He was brilliant. Yeah. Absolutely.
I felt bad for him in the Euros. The way that he went out in the Euros, it was really, it was hard for Croatians to. I thought he deserved a
great goal against Scotland. He scored a great goal against Scotland.
The outside of the boot.
He honestly, do you know what? There were rumours, like we always have rumours, that he might have come back, like when Bow or whatever near the end.
Yeah.
There's always, if he had come back, Jesus Christ, the fit. Joe, if you'd put Modric in this team now, Jesus.
Aaron, can you imagine what a Dembele and Modric in midfield in their prime would have done at Scotland?
That would have been.
I know.
I just want to prime Moussa Dembele back. Just even him would make me.
I have to correct myself, by the way,
from my lifetime.
I have to correct myself. The other night, I kept referring to Dembele as Ndombele, which was I meant Dembele when we were having that discussion. But just statistically, right? So roughly, Modric played half the games that Eriksen did. He was involved in 127. He got 13 goals, 15 assists in the Premier League, right? Now, for me, he's a far classier player than Eriksen, who played 226 games, got 50 odd goals and 62 assists. Now, for me, like I would still favour Modric just because of what he did and the type of player he was, and I would love him in the team today. But you can't at the same time argue with Eriksen's statistics over it. You know, I'm not one for stats, but yeah.
You know what? We're mentioning that though. We had Van der Vaart, Modric, Dembele, a King, a Bale.
Yeah, that team was.
Hugo, and you look at this. This is the kind of thing. And I said I'm not going to go, but this is why I kind of get annoyed because we had these teams. We keep building these teams and getting so close. And Redknapp got us so. I mean, forget Pochettino for the moment. Joel started building something. And we sacked him at half time. Redknapp came in and he was within whiskers, and I mean whiskers, of getting us over the line for the Premiership, not just a trophy, the Premiership. And what do? We sell the players. It's like every time. And I mean, I look back at it, I mean, don't get me wrong, and I think everyone on here will agree. Pochettino has given us the best football that I can remember in my lifetime. Like obviously,
Yeah, my lifetime.
I was late at the Birkinshaw. The Venables time, me and Bob could speak for 3 weeks about Terry Venables' time, and it was great football. But the Harry Redknapp football at times was, and you got to remember that was Dawson and King to add into that as well.
Fucking
You look at that. You look at that team now.
Damn.
That team that I've just mentioned, like a Modric, a Dembele, a Van der Vaart. I mean, can you imagine if we had those players in Poch? Like Poch got them peak. Mate, it's like literally the players we had and the teams we keep assembling just to be that 1 or 2 away to get. It's so frustrating. But
Redknapp didn't do himself any favours, though.
No, that last year he was
the whole England debacle and everything. Yeah,
not just that year we also backed it with the Rosie 27, with the Rosie 47, with the tax evasion or whatever it was. He also had to have major heart surgery, and Bob obviously knows what goes through with that. And literally, we backed him and we supported him and did whatever. And then there's no. It's an obvious coincidence that once the England job came up, we didn't win a single game. But once Hodgson got the England job, we won every game. There's no, and that last season, as Aaron rightly said, he weren't he was a great manager, but he wasn't a great man. He wasn't very ethical. But that team we had again is frightening when you think back at it now.
Yeah, and I don't think I don't think we even realized maybe how good it was.
We did. Someone didn't.
Yeah, it goes back down to Levy again, though, doesn't it? I mean, how many times have we had a nearly great team?
He said his name 3 times. He said it 3 times.
No,
I didn't say the first name, man.
Aaron said it once. You said it twice. Daniel, if you say it one more time, then things happen.
Gotcha. Okay, but hey, you guys, another Ben Davis or Benoit Asuakato.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, easy.
Really?
Yeah.
Not for me. Not for me.
Yeah, Ben, Akoto, he hated football. He hated football. It was a job for him.
He loved haircuts.
He loved haircuts. He loved Harry Redknapp. Harry Redknapp always picked him because you know what? He went onto the pitch and for 90 minutes he'd give it his all.
Ben Davis deserves a testimonial.
But he'd always give it, and he'd never shirk a tackle, and he was good. He was actually very, very good. Davies is Mr. Reliable. That's about it.
Deserves a testimonial.
As a personality, as a player who I enjoyed, Harry Redknapp's era, what is my favourite era.
It's what got me to Spurs.
Redknapp's era, we could see progression, and for once we actually saw progression, and we got to the Champions League. Whereas under Poch, it was great. We saw progression, but then he came to a halt. Harry Redknapp for me went too early, so it'd be very hard for me to. I know I kind of contradict myself when it came to Woodgate, but no, Akoto. I had a number 3. Not a number 3. He was wearing number 3, didn't he, for a bit?
Yeah, I think he had 20 something to begin with, but I think he did take the 3.
Yeah,
once Bale got 11.
I loved him. I think that was more of a personality thing. Saying, I don't.
He was a cult. He was a cult kind of personality kind of guy.
Yeah, he was honest. He was honest about not liking football.
Is it kickoff time? Is it kickoff time? Right, let me put this fag out.
Yeah.
Right, come on. Go out, give 90 minutes, win the game, come back, and sit down. Right, okay, I'm going home now, lad. See you later. And that was it. I loved him.
All I saw was a John Smith Peter Kay advert with the football when he just that's all I saw. But you know what? Me and my dad came up with a theory, Benoit Asuakato, and it's funny. Bob says haircuts. If he had his hair braided and everything, he played sensational. As soon as the afro was out, he was fucking useless.
It's like what David Harris says about Harry Kane.
He always looked so high. He always had just this look like he just was always.
Yeah.
He was an enigma, man. The guy was an enigma.
For the blockbuster he scored against Liverpool.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the cocktail on this one. Yeah.
He's who I would pick too. He was a lot of fun. Afro Benny.
But he was a disaster at times as well. Mind you, Davies as well. Yeah.
I must admit, Colin, you have to trademark this game because I fucking love it.
It's great fun, isn't
it? Hey, it's a lot of fun for me too because I get to hear some stuff, about players that I don't know. I like to hear you guys' perspectives on.
By the way, where's your mum gone?
She disappeared. I don't know.
Okay,
we'll find her. She's somewhere.
There's some quotes. There's some quotes from Roy Keane. On yesterday's England game.
Oh, okay.
And they told him about Saka's goal, and he says he should enjoy this England win because he's not going to get any at club level.
Good old Roy. I love the man.
There we go.
Yeah, I love the man.
He's such a Spurs fan, isn't he? He's admitted it. He's admitted it as well. Just let it out.
Have any of you watched? It's brilliant. I'll let you get back to what you said with the King thing, but it's about Roy Keane. There's a thing on YouTube with a 2-hour interview with him and Gary Neville live.
Yeah, what's that?
Absolutely brilliant.
The overlap.
I don't mean this season on the overlap Sky thing. I mean,
this is old. This is
a whole
old.
Yeah, when they sat down.
A lot about Sir Alex Ferguson.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It was like for his birthday. They went out for a walk.
I watched that whole thing. It was awesome.
Thing about Roy.
His stories are brilliant.
Thing about Roy is he's refreshing. And he divides people, but he says it straight. He doesn't mince words. He doesn't, pussyfoot around things. And he's right. You see the interviews of the likes of Beckham and Gary Neville, and they say, who was the greatest player you played with, and they'll all say Roy Keane because he was such a good leader. And that's something that's why I want to see Højbjerg made captain now, because I think he's got an essence of Roy Keane about him.
The best Roy Keane commentary was, do you remember when Bergwijn scored that goal in the first game after lockdown, and he crucified De Gea and Harry Maguire? He's like, they shouldn't even be on the bus. They should be like, he literally just goes for the jugular every single time.
Yeah, man, if Roy Keane was running for president of Ireland, he'd get my vote, okay? I mean, there's no doubt about it. I love the man.
You'd have no trouble.
I'd move to Ireland so I can vote.
Yeah, there you go. I wouldn't want him. He would lead if there was ever like a war. I feel like he would just go out like shirtless, and just up to the front lines, just trying to.
Bullets would bounce off him, man.
Scott not a fan.
Does not agree.
What's the matter?
He must be a Liverpool fan. He must be a Liverpool fan, man.
No, Scott.
Joking.
Yeah.
I know. I'm joking.
He's pure. And Roy Keane is just like, sometimes he talks banter, but at the end of the day, he is correct. We're not going to really see too much Arsenal wins in that statement. That is correct.
Yeah, that's
brilliant. And some other ones, there's some other ones where he's like, he's complete banter, and he's that type of
He did have a fallout with. Remember that, Dad, when he had a fallout with Jamie Redknapp about world-class players, not world-class players. And was laying into Spurs and Jamie Redknapp. But I do think because he is a Spurs fan, you can tell by some of the stuff he says. Yeah. He always brings it up.
Yeah, he
I've
always
been a Spurs fan. I was a Spurs fan. He doesn't shy away from it. If he didn't support Spurs and he didn't want to, he'd never mention it. But he's mentioned it so many times, especially of late. Maybe he's justifying why he crucifies them so much, because it probably does come. It's like us. The amount of times. If we do shit, we'll come on here and we'll crucify Spurs, won't we? And maybe that's that side of him that doesn't enjoy it.
Talking of him as a player, when I was a kid, I don't know if anyone else thought this, and this is not me talking about Roy Keane, but as I was growing up as a kid, when I heard about internationals, this is before I knew what it was, I thought if you played in England, like in the Premier League or the First Division, then you represented England, and if you played in Serie A, and can you imagine if that was the way, and we would have Keane in midfield and Ryan Giggs the missing piece in the left wing? I just wish that rule had been like, can you imagine now if everyone in the Premiership you play for English? Can you imagine the team we'd have?
Yeah, well, you already got Kane, Maguire, Declan Rice, and who else from us? I mean, I could list about 5 players you got from Ireland.
I can think of a few more that you've taken from us.
Give and take, pal. Give and take. Grealish, another
one. You took Townsend, didn't you? You took Townsend.
Oh, sorry. There's a Japanese. Is that Japanese or Chinese? That's Chinese. Sorry, I can't read it. No, it's Chinese.
I can read it. Let me read it. Hold on. Yep, I agree. Absolutely agree. But
you see, the problem with Japanese and Chinese is they mix characters. So half of Japanese is spelled. They use Chinese characters. So that's why.
Weird.
It is a spam. It is a spam.
They got to be blocked.
It's a Japanese. The name on top is Japanese, but the characters are all Chinese below.
He's pretty much putting his life.
Would you like to know what it means? I've just Google translated. So
yeah, it's like pretty much his life story.
Yeah, born on the 17th of August 1892 in Koshiwaka, Ku, Tokyo, the third son of Yamaguchi Soshio, a member of the old Matusi federal clan, and I won't go on with the rest. I think we can say it's bad.
It's spam. It's from China.
Real. He played in 61, didn't he? 61 Cup final. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he trained Takehiro Tomiyasu as well at youth level.
It's all making sense. I see the connection. I see why he's here.
To be fair,
you guys
been linked
ready
with
for some more names? Or
hit it with some more names. Let's hit it with some more names.
David Bentley or Nabil Bentaleb.
Oh, well, this is easy.
This is easy.
This is easy. I might as well say it first. David Bentley, goal against
that wonder goal you're going to talk about.
Yeah, I was going to say same. Man.
Goal against. What you got to remember as well. This is another thing. When we signed David Bentley, I mean, I know for sure. I thought, oh my God, this is the player we needed. Because at Blackburn, he was tearing stuff up. He was brilliant. And for some reason, sometimes you get a player that looks like he's so suited for that team, but for some reason, just doesn't work. Now, I know for a fact, he got done for drink driving and he got done in Potter's Bar, which is like a 10-minute journey for me. He had issues there. I mean, we all remember when we qualified for the Champions League, he's in his pants and he dropped the drink over Harry Redknapp. But now he owns a bar in Spain, and he's doing very well.
The bucket of water or something.
So yeah, it was. I mean, Nabil Bentaleb. I mean, someone used to. I don't want to say it because Dan's here, because I don't want to be too rude. But I mean, they used to say.
Really, you really think Dan's not heard it?
Oh no, I mean,
he's been within the family so long now. I'm sure he knows.
Okay, yeah, but I don't know if. Okay, so if I say this, I'm not taking responsibility for it.
Don't say it.
If you say it, okay.
I so don't know. I'll tell you what. I'll say it later, and if Bob first says I can say it later on, like when I'm next on the stream, I'll say it.
Text me.
Okay, I'm going to text it to him now. But Nabil I'm gonna wait. You know what? I'm gonna mute my camera mute my camera. I've got to stop saying that. I'm gonna mute my mic and turn off my camera so I can send it in a voice note because it's a lot easier to say than type. I'm back in 2 seconds.
All right. But is that the same answer for you, Bob? You gonna pick Bentley?
Yeah, Bentley did two good things at Spurs. One, that 45-yard volley against Arsenal, and then chucking ice water over Harry Redknapp, and he'll always be.
That was the end of his career, really, right?
He was given the number 5 shirt as well as a winger. He was given the number 5 shirt, which I think he surprised him as well. I always remember that. And he was joking. He absolutely buzzing on his first interview, saying, "Oh, they've given him the number 5 shirt. I hope they're not thinking about playing him in defence."
Check your WhatsApp.
But no, for Bentley, easy Bentley. Although, however, first game of the season at Weighton Newcastle, Bentley was playing. And no one will ever find it. And if they do, please send it to my Twitter, because there's a piece of skill that Bentley did against Newcastle, first game of the season. It was a goal kick, chested it down, and then flicked it over with his left foot. And before it hit the ground again, flicked it over the player with his right foot, and then took it forward with his left. And there was and it's probably the only thing. And I remember rewatching it about 5 or 6 times. It was absolutely brilliant. First game away from home against Newcastle. I think we won 2-0. I think Kane scored. And that piece of skill, I don't know if I can find the game anywhere. If I can, I will try and do it. And but that alone doesn't allow me to save his life.
He's gone, huh? He's another casualty. Yeah, I think that one might have been too easy. And this one is another 2 players that are from like
I'm
very
just going to mute so I can listen to his message.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, can I just add a third thing there to Bentley's argument? The way he finished off his career, owning a nightclub on the Costa del Sol on the Mediterranean and not giving a shit about football. I think he gets bonus points
wasn't he a kicker in the NFL for a while, if I'm not mistaken?
Was he really? I didn't know that. Okay, now he's getting 4 points, man. Bentaleb's off the bye Bentaleb.
I gotta make sure that's a fact before I say it out loud like that. David Bentley, NFL.
Yeah, don't say it, Brian. Don't say it. Thank you.
I thought, see, there's a cross between.
What's he said? I'm dying to know.
I can't. Aaron, I don't know. I send a lot of voice notes. I don't know if I can voice note on Twitter.
Can you say it without the bad words?
Okay, so back home in England, do you remember? I'm going to try and miss out a word. Do you know we have something called Steak and Something Day? Don't say the word.
Yes, yeah. I know, yeah.
So they used to say on Steak and that day.
Okay, change subject.
Okay, yeah. So
I think you can see when Bob's.
Dan's googling it now. Dan's googling it.
Yeah,
no, Dan, don't.
Taken what day in Bentley?
You can see where I was going with that, yeah?
You can Google it. It will
dear, I'm sorry for bringing that up again.
So, Brad Friedel or Gomes?
I have no idea who Gomes is.
That's easy, man.
Aurelio Gomez.
Oh, Gomez.
No.
I heard Gomes.
Yeah, I pronounced it really rough. Sorry about that.
Gomez was a disaster, man.
But he was also awesome. He was a disaster, or he was great.
Wasn't he a former forward who was converted to goalkeeper, and he was brilliant to picking balls out of the top corner, dive into, mad extensions. But Friedel was far more reliable. Now, I'd love to get the stats up, because I might be wrong on that, but for me, Friedel all the way. Friedel kept Lloris out for a year almost,
Yeah. But I still have some love for Aurelio. I don't know. He
was another cult character, though.
He got so upset. He really cared. You know what I mean? Like anytime.
He was brilliant for Watford. Great for Watford, but I didn't think he was good for us.
I think a lot of the pressure might have gotten to him at Spurs. That he just sometimes that's the only explanation I have for the fact that sometimes he could be. Sometimes it's a good, sometimes it's a shit. However that goes.
I also kind of love Friedel for the publicity that he gave us in America, and he kind of acted as an ambassador there for a couple of years after he left us. So. Yeah,
and he's kept the
Gomez
always
whinged about us.
Yeah, well, that was another easier one.
So,
no, because the lads disagree with me.
No, do you know what it is? I have a very big soft spot for Gomez because he was the goalkeeper that got us first into the Champions League. But there's 2 games that sum up the brilliance and the stupidity of Gomez in 2 games. Now, anyone again, if you YouTube the game where Danny Rose scored his volley against the Filth, if you actually watch the highlights that are available on Spurs TV, Aurelio Gomez makes 3 world-class saves. And one is from Van Persie, a volley in the 6-yard box. Then if you watch the free kick that he saves from Van Persie, you can't even see, because the wall's in the way, you can't even see Gomez. And it is going into the postage stamp, top corner like you'd never see. And out of nowhere, you just see Gomez's hand. And this ball is moving at some speed. And then they show you the angle from behind the goal or from behind the free kick, behind Van Persie. To this day, it's one of the greatest saves I've ever seen with my own eyes. It was that good. And then to wrap it all off, he put a header onto the crossbar. And this when we're going for Champions League from none other than Judas. Can you imagine that game that was 2-1? If Judas had scored to get us out of the Champions League running, I think all hell would have broken loose. So for that game is the brilliance. But then Bob Spur will remember, and I think sure Aaron will remember, we played Blackpool when I was at this game. And he gave away a penalty. He took the penalty, he saved it, it went out for a corner. It came back in for another corner. He picked the ball, he dropped the ball, he gave another penalty away, and they scored it. He did that. That was, his shot stopping was second to none. His shot stopping was outstanding. Everything else was like, oh God, what's going to go on? Brad Friedel, when we signed him, and I remember he played his first game for us, it was a 3-0 defeat at United. And we were meant to play Everton the week before, but because of the Tottenham riots that were going on, that game got called off for obvious reasons. And he replaced Gomez. And you know what? Seeing him, we may have lost 3-0, but just seeing him in the back of the, you just thought, Joe, we've got a safe pair of hands. We got a safe pair of hands in there. And one of the things I hated about Brad Friedel's career, and it's not about Brad Friedel, it is about Brad Friedel. Like Aaron said, he kept Lloris out for a little while. But one thing AVB did, or it may have been the manager before, I'm sure it was AVB, he played him, Lloris, in a pointless game at home when Friedel was going for like the longest consistent game record.
Yeah.
Oh, I do
And it was like
remember
he
that.
just brought him in,
Yeah.
and then he went back out. And I was like, whatever. I was like, you arsehole. The guy's like 4 or 5 matches away. Brad Friedel, for his age, and you got to remember, he'd been at Liverpool, and he came in as this big American thing in America from Liverpool, didn't do well. Went to Blackburn, was outstanding. Went to Liverpool, Villa, was outstanding, and came to us, and was outstanding. But then that's when we'd identified Lloris, and obviously the rest was Lloris's history. So I had a real soft spot for Gomez.
Well, he's the first keeper I remember at Spurs.
I don't think in any way you can't. In my opinion, I would have to say Friedel stays.
He became ambassador, or I don't know if he still is. He's ambassador for us in the US, isn't he? Brad Friedel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's still
Certainly
representing
was
our
anyway.
club. Yeah. He's represented our club after leaving us. So no, Brad Friedel for me, old big hands. It looks like
what a nice guy as well.
He's
I liked his weird accent that he had.
His voice,
he had some weird mix of like an American British.
He played for
all Americans have weird accents, man.
His was the weirdest because he had adopted a lot of that, that North London.
Yeah.
He had a Liverpool, Blackburn, Villa, Tottenham accent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely a weird one. But yeah, he was awesome. They were both really cool. I'm glad I got to hear you guys' takes on that because, like I said, that was at the very beginning of my my watching Spurs.
What about you, Dan?
To be honest, I don't really remember a lot of them. The first ever goalkeeper I saw number 1 was Hugo Lloris.
He's been there for a long time. That makes a lot of sense. I mean,
yeah. I started watching Tottenham that season where we challenged for the title. And Leicester City ended up winning. That's the season that I started watching Tottenham. So Lloris was number 1 there. And pretty much that's the only goalkeeper I've seen wearing the number 1 for Tottenham.
What do you think of Eric Torsvet, Dan?
Eric Torsvet.
Eric the Vice.
He's from 99. Yeah. Just watch him. If you get a chance, YouTube Eric Torsvet Spurs. Legend, I know a few massive, big hands.
I know a few old players from Tottenham. I know Ricky Villa. Yeah. I know obviously Ardiles because I've seen a lot of documentaries about him. I know Gaza. Brian Daigle showed me a documentary about him.
I said it to Aaron as well. Aaron just watched it.
Yeah,
man, I watched it. I watched the Huddle one too, man. Brilliant. Of course,
Gaza. Just quickly, did you watch the Vinnie Jones and Gaza?
No, not yet. No. I watched the Gaza one, and straight after I watched the Huddle one, and they're my 2 favorite players for Tottenham of all time, man. So, Gaza, that was such a nice, just a nice documentary about him. Showed the human side without the controversy, and it was brilliant to see it. So, I love the Huddle one as well. So, look, it's kind of late in the morning now, but maybe tomorrow I'll be watching the interview with him and Vinny.
Oh, that's brilliant.
We got Audio Artisan though in the chat, and I don't know who either of these people that he's asking about.
David Hauser, Steve Sedgley.
Now we're going back. Now we're going back.
Surprised we don't have.
Oh, and another one that I forgot to.
I was just gonna. Go on, sorry, Dan.
Go on. No, I was just gonna say that another one that I forgot to say was Ginola. There's somebody I know.
Yeah. Luxury player though. I mean, he didn't really do much tracking back, but he was brilliant. He was fantastic.
That's a great question. This is a great question.
Left-footed midfielder, wasn't he? Playing defence as well. But David Howells was Spurs through and through. Came through the youth, 100%. Still attached to Spurs. So, and there was a bit more skill about David Howells than what it was, and Sedgley was a bit more robust and a bit more robotic, and a good player, but I think David Howells was a bit more natural flair there, wasn't it, with David Howells? And for me, David Howells was my favorite. Number 8, wasn't he? Number 8, and Sedgy was a number 6, if I'm right, or a 4.
So,
it might have been a 4.
Sedgy was 4.
Yeah,
Sedgy for 4. No, Howells would have been at 8 after Gaza, wouldn't he? Because whilst Gaza was there, no one was touching 8.
Yeah.
So, but this is tough for me because Steve Sedgley, my very first game that I ever got taken to with my dad. My dad took me to it was the Carabao Cup, but God knows what it's called back then. The Littlewoods, the Simod, whatever the blood. It's had so many names, but I remember this religiously. Spurs were playing away to Tranmere, and we were 2-0 down. Don't know what minutes was. I must have been. It was Gaza's. So I'm talking about. I'm 9 years old, and my dad said, "Do you know what? If Spurs come back and get a draw, I'm going to take you to the game." And Steve Sedgley scored an equaliser in the 92nd minute. So Steve Sedgley is always going to be a name. But David Howells, so the reason I went to my very first Spurs game was Steve Sedgley. So for that, he gets brownie points. But I've got to talk a little bit more about David Howells, what Bob went on. Now, Bob might remember this game. We lost the game to West Ham 4-3. And there was really bad wins. Really. You remember that game? Julian Dix scored a thunderbolt. David Howells' father died that day.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm playing for Spurs.
That's it.
Yeah.
He said, I don't care. My dad would have wanted me to play for Spurs. It's a London derby. So for that and that alone, you could have put David Howells amongst a lot of people, and I will always go David Howells for that alone.
Yeah. Also for the amount of years Howells he played for us as well. You know, I mean, he was there over a decade, and Sedgley was only there probably 4 or 5 years or something, and so it's hard to. Sorry, go on, Danny.
No, you can finish. You can finish.
Audio, you can't ask an Israeli if he prefers, or.
Okay, so when we get around to this question,
Ronnie Rosenthal's hat trick, man. Ronnie Rosenthal's hat trick.
I was there.
No way.
I was at the Dell.
Best hat trick of all time, man.
But so let me know when we're talking that question, and I need to go because I need to talk about Ronnie Rosenthal.
Oh well, that one's up. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think Dan want to say something.
Oh yeah, Dan, sorry, go on, you go.
No, I was just gonna say I have one for you guys. Dele Alli or Ndombele right now, not on the past. This season, what do you feel about them now?
Dele Alli.
Dele Alli, yeah.
To keep.
Dele Alli, keep, just because he's shown what he can do consistently.
Okay. I might go against the grain here and say Ndombele. I think you get more use out of him on the pitch this year.
Bob?
Oh, Dele Alli, mate.
What's Bob saying?
The way Ndombele has disrespected the club. Dele Alli was loss of form. And there was a bit of shithousery in his car, touching the cap and all that. But he's come back. He's come out the other side and showing signs of it. Whereas Ndombele, pure disrespect and can't be asked.
Yeah.
Nah, fuck off, mate. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Ndombele, without a doubt, Scott M.
Yeah, he wants to kill. Scott, you want to kill Ndombele, yeah? Please tell me that's the case.
I think if it just going on like what they could bring to the team this season, I think that if he gets minutes, I think Ndombele could bring more to this season than Dele is. But
you definitely need to watch.
Well, we've had 2 years of ifs and buts, man. 2 years of ifs and buts with Ndombele.
And
Dele what Mickey Hazard said about Ndombele. You need to watch that.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go, guys. I'm gonna.
It was good having you, buddy. Thanks for stopping by, man.
I have to deal with my stuff, and then I might have my podcast at 10:15. If any of you guys want to hop on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for coming by too,
brother.
Come on, Danny boy.
You're a good man, sir.
Come on, you Spurs.
Leave you out.
Oh, come on, you Spurs.
Trust the process.
So yeah, Ronnie Rosenthal. So Ronnie Rosenthal, obviously, when Ronnie Rosenthal was the first proper Israeli that came over to England in Division 1 before the Premiership, and he went to Liverpool and he set Liverpool on fire, and then he had a miss, which was probably one of the worst misses you ever see against Aston Villa.
Yeah.
And then he went back and forth. Now, when he came to Tottenham, obviously Jewish club, I'm Jewish, the Ronnie Rosenthal love affair started. But Ronnie Rosenthal is massive. You don't realise how big he is till you see him. And look, thing with
Of course,
Ronnie
you shared with him.
Rosenthal.
You shared with him, didn't you? Yeah, of course.
Oh, loads of times, mate. Loads of times in Israel, and I'm going to get to that story. I'm going to get to that story when we get to Israel. It started on a drunken night. Trust me. Ronnie Rosenthal had this uncanny skill where four people could be around him and he'll get out like that. But as he's running in clear grass, he'll fall over. And I was like, "What are you doing? You've just beaten four men." But I was at the Southampton game when we were 2-0 down. He came on for Stuart Nethercott, one of the worst defenders you're ever likely to see.
Oh, God.
And he scored three of the most sublime goals you could ever see. And this is only when I just started going to away games. This was 1994, so I would have been
Klinsmann, Barnby, Sheringham.
I would have been 15, 16 kind of age. And then for me, being a Spurs fan, George, the Spurs fans started to sing Ronnie, oh Ronnie, Ronnie, oh Ronnie, Ronnie, oh Ronnie Rosenthal. Hey! So I was like in my element. I was like the best ride home. But then the weekend after that, we're away to Nottingham Forest. So we went up to Forest. And literally, when Ronnie Rosenthal, now Nottingham Forest, their tunnel was not, from what I remember, weren't in the centre. It was like at the end of the.
It was at the end. Had to walk across
the end of a
pitch.
stand. Yeah. It was one of those. And we're in the away stand, so we are the furthest away from where they come out. He ran out, and it was like the only way I could describe it is like when Lucas Moura first came out after the Ajax game and ran out onto the spot. Like the place went bananas. But then fast forward a load of time, I used to live in Israel, and Spurs were playing. I can't remember who the hell it was. We were in the Europa League. No, we were in the Europa League. It was a team. We were playing at home or I was about to say we're playing at home or away. That's fairly obvious. I think we were away. It was the second leg, and we're in this bar called the Underground, which was the English pub in Eilat. And there's loads of us sitting there. It's like mainly Spurs fans, but there was a load of English expats. So Ronnie Rosenthal walks into the bar, and literally, we're there. We're sitting there. We're like, oh my god! When you see him there, he's fucking, and I mean massive. And literally, he saw us all with the Spurs shirts. He goes, oh, hey, sat and talked with us. And he came about 15, 20 minutes into the first half and goes, all right, guys, if I sit with you, it's like, you're Ronnie Rosenthal. Are you okay if we sit with you? And he went, yeah. He goes, what are you drinking? So we all said a pint or whatever. And when the person, it was our local, so everyone knew, he literally handed over his card. He said, whatever these guys have drunk and whatever they do drink whilst I'm here, it's on me. And literally, we went out and we got battered. We got battered. Like they shut the doors. And then the shower, Bobby. But that's the story I tell you. The shower. But no, he was. I've got the shirts. It was the year where we were the Kappa shirts. It was the blue sleeves here, but white with the Thompson logo here. And I've got two Brian Best Wishes Ronnie Rosenthal in my house. He was just a wonderful, wonderful guy who was telling us stories about the Israeli players. Like Ayel Berkovic is a see you next Tuesday. Great player, but a complete see you next Tuesday. The other Yossi Benayoun is loved in Israel. Like, I mean, when I was there, so I was in this pub as well when Yossi Benayoun scored that goal for Lasagna Gate. And you had all the Spurs fans, but all the Israelis, and that was not fun. But also, what Rosenthal was telling us, he actually spoke to David Pleat to let him know about Dimitar Berbatov. So the first link we had to Berbatov was Ronnie Rosenthal saying, go and look at this dude. So Ronnie Rosenthal is the man that actually started the whole Dimitar Berbatov coming to Spurs. And he was telling us stories about it. It was incredible.
And of course, it was a shower when he realised you were Jewish.
Oh,
I mean, well, mate, I've said before. Listen, my nose is in a different area code to where my face is. So, so literally, but yes, but I like where you went with that, Bob. You see, you kept saying Charles, like, where's he going with that? This man is always, when it comes to a joke, he's 5 steps ahead of everyone. He's got the punchline before the joke. He's just waiting for someone to.
Exactly.
And it's 3 o'clock.
What's the breaking news?
I will say.
Oh, that's the breaking news. Bob's going.
No, Martinez. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
It's the talk of me and Ronnie Rosenthal having a shower. He's got to go.
That's it, man. That's it. I'm reaching for the Kleenex as we speak. But yeah, big up, mate. Big up.
Thanks so much for being here, man.
Aaron, love you. Love your new hairstyle, mate. Suits you.
Oh yeah. That's my Australian version of me. Yeah,
he looks a little different now.
I see that picture, Aaron. All I want to do is start singing Diamond Lights.
Mate, I had that on because I was trolling Galaxy Universe the other day, and I pretended to be an Australian guy.
Look at this in the chat. Who's trolling us now? This is a little. I'm glad that.
What's he saying?
Oh, okay.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Chris
I'm glad that.
I'm looking to get stuffed or DP.
Oh, he must be referring to me and my haircut, man. Maybe
or
he's into
talking
a bit of
about
that.
the Ronnie Rosenthal discussion we were just having,
Maybe,
and where Bob and I decided to take it.
That's it. Guys, thank you very much.
He's not.
Brian,
he's not trolling. He's not trolling, apparently. Yeah, Bob was speaking in the morning, brother.
Bob, hey, see you, man. Hey, thank you so much for being here.
Bob,
everyone, check out Bob Spurs TV. He's got like the best Spurs channel around. So if you're watching this, go check out and sub to Bob's channel.
I'm here, but I'm not going to take that as an insult because he does. Everyone watch Bob Spurs because he's the best.
He's
my brother, and I can't wait to do streams with him and see him. And Bob, just WhatsApp me when you wake up, so let me know. Yeah,
I will do, mate.
All right, brother.
And piss off a lot of you.
Piss off.
Yeah, piss off too, brother.
Okay, so I got just like a couple more real quick. I want to just throw at you guys, quick ones.
Yeah, then I've got to go on to Danny's. I'm always there on Danny's. So,
Parker or Siggy? I know they play different positions.
So Gylfi Sigurdsson is a sore point at the moment because of what he's going through, or not what he's going through, what he could be.
I tried to. Okay, let's put that aside.
Who was it? Sorry, Sigurdsson or
Parker.
Who? Oh, Scotty Parker. Oh, okay, yeah.
So Gylfi Sigurdsson, when we signed him, I loved him. He looked like what he was doing at Swansea, and I was also at the game. He scored a blockbuster against Hull in the Carabao Cup, whatever it was, and he scored a thunderbolt into the top corner. And I was really pissed off when we let him go because I thought, you know what, we need this creative player. We need him. But Scotty Parker, for the couple of seasons we had him, was sensational. And I'm going to have to say Scotty keep.
Yeah, that's probably who I would say too. I was similarly angry whenever we let Sigurdsson go. That was a weird time. I know that we had Eriksson and he was upset. He wanted the game time. But yeah, I was upset also. And then just last one, Paulinho or Zakora?
I think that he is Zakora on that one, just for his commitment. And I didn't get to answer the previous one.
Go on.
Yeah, for me, I think Parker had a slow start when he joined us, but he upped his level and he had that kind of dedication that similarly Zakora had. Yeah, so for me, I would go with Zakora and Parker.
Yeah, those would be my choices. Also, Parker's 360s, man, those were worth their weight in gold. At
least he didn't do 180s like Wings did.
And those tucked in shorts, him and Jermaine Defoe with their tucked in shorts. That's like a bygone thing now. You know, tucked in shirts. You never see that anymore. But Brian, you said you had to go, mate.
No, I'm gonna go. I've got to go in 10 minutes for Daniel's
cool.
stream. But
So
yeah, I have to go with Didier Zakora, which has now been taken over by Danny Kiriakou. Mate, honestly, Aaron, if you're ever on a stream, you've got to. I'm gonna be screaming that every time I speak. His girlfriend, I'm meeting him when I'm in London. And she pissed herself when I sent it to her voice note when it was on holiday. So when I meet her, I'm going to go, Mrs. Kiriakou. Oh, mate, it always puts a smile on your face. But yeah, I'd have to go for Didier.
He and I have been talking
Don't say Mrs. Don't say Mrs. Kiriakou, because if it's only a girlfriend, man, you don't want to be putting thoughts in her head, and putting the pressure on them.
Oh, maybe I'm only there for 6 weeks. Maybe cause some havoc and leave.
Maybe
get away with it, man.
Yeah, plant the seed, and then it's like when you give somebody else's kid sugar and you're like, bye, like, have fun with that kid. Okay, we got Wanyama or Højbjerg.
Højbjerg.
You've gone there. Oh, why did you do that?
Oh, really?
Why did you do that? So yes. Højbjerg.
Okay.
Oh my God, this is harder than Bale and Son for me.
No, but think of the future. Are we allowed to think of the future on this, or are we talking about now?
If you look at it, this is the way I look at it, okay? And think about my train of thought. So they both had one. All right, Højbjerg's in his second season. So let's just take first seasons each. Wanyama and Dembele. Wanyama last season at the Lane. The guy, I wish we had signed him a few seasons before. I went to a lot of those games. And you think
last
Dembele,
season at the Lane, though, man, that was there wasn't a player you couldn't not like that year.
And not just that. I mean, you thought Dembele could take people off. My God, Wanyama. My God. And even in that Leicester game when we won 6-2 at Leicester, there's 3 people trying to foul him. He just does and I loved him. For me, that last year of the Lane, he was our player of the season, hands down by a million miles. He was that good. But I love, and as I've said, people know it's very well documented. Gaza never ever will be passed. Then you have Vertonghen, and not because of just the player he is, but the man he is and the way he acts and the way he's been around the ground. Højbjerg is very, very quickly becoming my 3rd favourite Spurs player.
Yeah.
This is so. Do you know what? I had a pass with Bale and Son. I can't do this one. Potentially, don't get me wrong. Aaron's right, Højbjerg. But if we're only judging it on one season, I can't. Wanyama was just. You can't go second in the league, undefeated at home. The football we were playing, him and Dembele is I can't separate them.
You couldn't get through that midfield for sure.
No.
You weren't getting through. That was that actually is the end of my list. I didn't get very many ready for today.
That was a great list.
Thanks. This is a fun game. We're eventually going to run out of players, but until then, this is probably my favorite thing I've done on my channel. Just because
I love this game. You need to make it like an actual show, not just a portion of a show. You need to make it a show.
Yeah, it's good fun. I gotta admit, especially because I'm competing with lads like Bob and Brian who've got a hell of a lot more knowledge than I do.
It's not even competing, Aaron. We're of the same kind of generation, so we've got the same kind of memories. And it's like he could have some stories. Like you got to remember, Aaron was saying that he was watching or having to listen to a lot of radio because he was in Ireland. So there's memories of commentary or how he could have pictured something in his head via radio, which is completely different to how I would picture it. And it's just things like that. I mean, Aaron and I'm hoping, because I don't know if he can get to London, I'm hoping to get to Dublin. I'm going to do a whistle. Aaron's one of the guys I really want to meet, but we share a lot of the same memories of football, but maybe just see them differently. So having this with someone like Aaron, it's like me and Aaron have been the ones that I think we've got 100% record in this game, haven't we? Me and Aaron have been in the two. So I'm loving doing this with Aaron. It's wicked.
Well, I'm loving
it's
having
fun,
you guys
I have to admit, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us on, Colin.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for being here. And for everybody watching, thanks for being here too. And Aaron, I just cut you off so bad.
I was going to say to Dago there that a lot of my memories came out of Shoot magazine. I've still got my 1981 Tottenham Hotspur poster, man. I've got, my 1984, 1987, 1981 Panini albums. And I got the memories of listening to games with my uncle, before we had the... Yeah, go on, man.
Well, I was about to say, when you say Shoot magazine, see, my dad is my hero. I mean, we used to hate each other during my mental health. I mean, hate each other. But now I look at my dad, he's my hero. I worship the ground he walks on. He is like, if I get to be half the man he is, then I will be the lucky. But what my dad used to do, Jewish people have Friday night as the Sabbath. And my parents have now been married, I'm 42, 44 years. So growing up as a kid, and still to this day with my mum gets a £100 bouquet of flowers every single Friday for 44 years. And my sister used to get Smash Hits or something. And I used to get Shoot magazine every single Friday throughout my entire childhood. Same. So it's things like that. When you said Shoot magazines, here's what I'm talking about, doing these things with Aaron. He has just said something. I say that word shoot watching football 1 million times a year. But just because he said it in the way he said it, I was like, oh, fuck me. I've just gone back to being like a 7-year-old kid waiting for my dad to come home. I could see the flowers for my mum and then the magazine. He'd be like, here you go, happy Shabbos, here's your present. I said, oh, mate, Aaron, you just given me such a wonderful memory.
You wouldn't believe, Brian, my mum, when I went away, I lived away for a long time in my life from the age of 19 onwards. And I got back before I turned 40. I'm 47 now. My mum gave me this box of memorabilia that had my Subbuteo from 1987 with the Tottenham hosting kit with the blue stripes down the top half at an angle. She gave me a bunch of old shoot magazines. She kept all my old records, you name it. I mean, just every bit of memorabilia I had, like Panini albums, everything. And she kept all my sister, who was mad into music, all her Smash Hits magazines. And yeah, man. So same era, obviously, same generation. But it's nice to have that kind of memorabilia and be able to look back on it from time to time. But yeah, man, I'm sure we'll have a few stories to natter about if you get over here to Dublin, or if I can get off the hook and pop over to London.
You guys better do a show live together if you get together. That would be awesome.
Oh, mate, without that, I mean, the good thing is, I mean, I'm having a meeting with Brian Ireland this week to discuss, because obviously what Tottenham on Tour stands for is exactly that. I'm going to be on tour, and we're going to have to flex for this time. Like, obviously, I'm going to try and we're going to do the 2 Brian still, but we're going to do it Friday at midnight UK time if I'm there. And if I'm staying at my parents, I can't say, Mum and Dad, listen, I might be noisy tonight, so fucking don't come down and tell me to shut up, because I'm fucking doing my shot. So we may have to be a bit flexible or whatever, but we're going to do a load of content, and hopefully there may be times where Brian's asleep and I'll do it, and I'll say, right, guys, listen, I want to do something with an Aaron. If I do, mate, you'll be one of the first people I'll reach out to on Twitter, my man.
Cool, man. All right, you know, there's some good lads. If you do get to Dublin, you know, obviously, you know, there's a few Irish fans here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure would love to hook up with you. So yeah, we might be able to organise something.
The collaborations are going to be crazy.
Yeah, we will sort something. We will sort of, right. On that note, I've got to go and jump onto Dan's. But listen, Colin, always a pleasure, mate. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for
always
being
a pleasure.
Here, for real.
And Aaron, always a pleasure, my brother. And let me know once you've watched the Vinnie Jones one.
Will do, man. Will do. And likewise, I'm going to have to hop off now. It's just after 3 a.m. here. So, Colin, much appreciated.
On here with me, my friend.
See you later.
No problem. Thanks to your mama too. Yep, all right, leave you out, and come on, you Spurs boys. Come
on, you Spurs. And to anybody watching, if you've made it this far, you are officially. You win. You win my channel. No, if you're here, if you're watching, please just on the like, on the subscribe, and we'll be friends forever. You'll get to see me all the time. My hat's keying out a little bit right now. Doesn't exist. But just hit that like, hit the subscribe, and see you next time, everybody.